Hello everyone, in this video I'll be doing a review of Doom the Dark Ages after I beat the game. As someone who has played all the previous Doom games, this is another solid game that they have released. Now it does change up a lot of things compared to what you may be used to if you were a big fan of Doom Eternal. And it's not to say that it's a bad thing. I think change is often necessary to make sure that you don't stay stagnant in how you make your game. There has been some people that were upset that it's not an exact copy of Doom Eternal, and while I do think Doom Eternal is the better game overall, this is very worth a playthrough if you enjoy the previous Doom games. There's so many cool new weapons like the Ravager weapon here that I got, and all the weapons except for one have an alternative fire. So you can see this one here, you can actually pop it into a wider range version of the gun. So it's really cool. You got a variety of different weapons. Now the shield really is the biggest part of this game because you do have to use it. Now, the parry timing on this is extremely generous. That's just one thing I want to address right away. Even I played through the game on the Nightmare difficulty. It was not too challenging to be able to parry these attacks off. Any of those green attacks you do see are the ones that you're going to parry. And you can see there, the timing is extremely generous, so you don't have to worry too much. If you've been scared off by other games, maybe like Elden Ring or any other parry-focused game, Sekiro, due to the parry mechanics, you won't have to worry too much in this game. The parries are very generous, even on the highest difficulty. But there's also a bunch of different mechanics that you can change in the settings, which I'll get into in a moment. But I just want to show off some of the awesome gunplay in this game. Now, as I mentioned, most of these guns do have an alternative fire mode, which is pretty nice. So you can see here, we got like this machine gun, railgun type attack. And it can turn into almost like a sniper rifle with a big fall off on the shot there. And then we also have our classic shotgun, which can give you shields back. And then there's also the alternative fire, which is like a super shotgun here. Very powerful. So you got a lot of different combat choices you can make. You got the rocket launcher, which can turn into a grenade launcher, which will do multiple explosions, which is really cool. And again, the shield being a big function of this here. You can throw the shield, you can bash them with the shield, you can parry with the shield. And some weapons get a big benefit from parrying. So like there, we parry this, will charge up this weapon all the way. It's as gruesome as ever. And what actually I like a lot about the shield is it reminds me of the super shotgun from the previous game, but you can use it on any weapon here. So you got all that additional mobility, which is extremely nice. And then you can also throw it if there's enemies that are going to be weak to that. So there's some that you want to throw the shield at because it'll just mess them up, and it can actually just stick right into them, allowing you to get some extra shots in. So the game is chaotic, yes, but it's very enjoyable in how it plays out. It does define things differently from how Doom Eternal plays, as Doom Eternal's heavy on the jump, double jump, and then the dash. Here you don't have that. You got your run, you got your shield, and you got to work with what you got. So it does have a very grounded style feeling to it because you don't really get to jump around flying like you would have in Doom Eternal. But having the shield here to be able to parry attacks means you're more like a tank whenever you get into these fights. So again, any of these green attacks are the ones that we can parry off at the enemy. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of them to parry. So it is a really rewarding game style of play. Oh, almost went down there. That's the Cacodemon there. It's got the big brain appearance. A lot of the enemies look a lot different than they have in previous titles, but all your favorites are here. And I think that if you're a big fan of the franchise Doom, you're going to have a lot of fun here because the changes they've made, I feel like are very worthwhile. Oh, we're getting wrecked here. Yeah, the mobility, you don't get the same amount of mobility that you do in previous Doom titles, but that's all right because it's different. And I think that's a huge thing to mention is every single Doom game, I would say, has been solid. There hasn't been a bad Doom game in my opinion after playing through all of them. I'd have to say that this isn't as good as Doom Eternal. It's better. I would say it's better than Doom 2016. Doom 2016 was a great game, but I feel like the style of gameplay that you go through in this game is a little bit better. So just to quickly go through all the guns, here's the super shotgun or combat shotgun, and then it turns into the super shotgun. So the nice thing is you can pop these out just by pressing the F key at any time if you want to get a different version of the gun. So that's the first one. The classic, the rail spike shooter here, and I thought this one was really fun because it can create like a pincushion effect and explode outwards. And then you also have this here, which you're going to aim for headshots with. And then we also got ourselves the energy blaster, the cycler. So originally the accelerator, which can speed up a couple times and shoots really fast, very widespread as you can see there with high recoil. And then the cycler, which has literally no recoil. It can electrify enemies so you can deal extra damage to them, and it looks just as cool. So I think that one's one of my favorites as well to play with. I really enjoy this gun. And then there's also the pulverizer and the ravager here, which as you shoot, it charges up and does even more damage over time. It's grinding those skulls down. And then this version of it has the wider fire rate, which it looks cool. It also will give you your ammo back, so you can literally just keep ripping people apart with it. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite weapons to use in the game, just due to how powerful it was. The ball and chain style weapon here, the chain shot, which is great for removing armor off of enemies. And then we have ourselves this grenade launcher, which can create multiple grenades off of them. So if you hit a target, it can create multiple explosions. If you throw your shield into the target and then do that, it also gives you a bunch of extra grenades off of it. And it'll also turn into a rocket launcher, which can hurt yourself like the original Doom games. But what's cool is if you get a parry off, then it'll give you vampirism and heal back your health. And then we got the ballistic force crossbow here, where you can't use your shield. This is like the BFG of this game, and it is quite powerful. So the nice thing about a lot of these weapons, they reward you for getting your parries off. You also have a choice of different melee attacks too, which is pretty cool. Those shields will explode if you're able to hit them with your shield like that. I really like the dread mace weapon there I just used, which replenishes all your ammo. Now, one thing that's different about this game is you don't have to keep swapping around weapons. They're not as effective as they were in some of the previous Doom games, or especially Doom Eternal, where you want to swap to X weapon for X target, like shooting the turrets off of the back of a certain one. So you're much more free to choose the weapons that you want to use personally, which does present some problems. There are some that work better, like some items will be better, or weapons will be better for removing shields, but you always have your shield throw, which can really do that all the same. So it's nice because if you have a preferred playstyle, you don't have to play the way the game wants you to play. You can play your own way. Now, there's tons of different enemies here. It's really nice to see how much the enemy variety is here in this game, because we're literally slaying hundreds upon hundreds of enemies per level, and it still feels like it doesn't overstay its welcome in terms of the enemies that we do have to fight. So I really enjoyed the amount of enemies. I would obviously have loved more levels and things like that, but I mean, for the amount of content that's in this game, especially considering this is on Game Pass, there's a lot to enjoy here. So I was definitely satisfied with my playthrough of Doom the Dark Ages, and I can notice that there are a lot of differences in how the game plays compared to some of the previous games in the genre, but overall, I would have to say Doom the Dark Ages is a solid game. I think that ID Software has not missed with any of their games, and overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to give Doom the Dark Ages a solid 9 out of 10. It's fun. If you like the Doom style games, you'll be right at home here with the new mechanics, lots of secrets to discover. You got a dragon form and a hyper mecha form, which are okay. I prefer obviously being the Doom Slayer and just shooting things, but you got a bunch of different ways to play, cool weapons, fun upgrades. There's so much to enjoy with this game. So if you've been on the fence about getting Doom the Dark Ages, I'd say just get it. If you've been a fan of the previous games, you'll be right at home here. Despite the changes, I think that they're overall pretty solid. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions regarding this. I'll do my best to answer them. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.